Hello folks, so today I wanted to give you all a tour of our wonderful epic Gothic set. It's perhaps the most ambitious project we're doing right now at the British Horror Studio. So when you consider that we have so many films in production and post, however, this building is one of the most exciting things that we've been working on because it will provide us with what we describe as a permanent set facility, a place where, when it's finished, you can arrive with your production, with the costumes and props, and already have a wonderful environment to film in that will transport you back into this kind of Victorian, Edwardian, Gothic inspired setting. So, all the lads have been working really hard on where to even begin? Like joinery, plastering, floor tiling. And what I'd like to do is take you through each of the rooms and let you guys see just what's being done and talk a little bit about what's going to happen next. So let's start with room number 1, the lobby. When you first enter the lobby, you're confronted with these double doors. And this is a fairly small room where a lot of work has been getting done. You see here, these are the double doors that you come in. You see these double doors. So, gosh, what have we done? We replastered the space because it was a wreck. The guys have designed and made all this wood paneling, which looks just lovely. And inside those squares, we are going to be putting what are called appliques, which are decorative wood mouldings. And when all that's done, same with the door as well, which will have the paint stripped off it as well. So it'll be stripped like this door. When that's all done, it'll get stained. When we come up here, we see that we'll be making a wood cornice that will go all the way around. There'll be some sort of picture rail, which is like a smaller version that will go under it as well. That will bulk that up. And we'll have a ceiling rose there as well, like a plaster ceiling rose and a vintage light. This will have a dark wood stain, the windows likewise as well. And then this will be painted. And there'll be some wonderful decorations put there. Vintage furniture, things like that. The idea is to create a wonderful little sense of Gothic splendour when you first come in. The floor we did, and we created our own Edwardian design pattern that utilises the colours of brown and green and white, which are the main colours in the building. So let's see, what else is there? Things like this. We'll probably have decorations as well in the form of strips of wood resin that have these wonderful period mouldings. And also on the flat panels of these doors, we'll have decorative mouldings as well. These are historic reproductions of things like kind of like a Renaissance figure there and one there, and it'll look wonderful. And of course, we'll need handles as well. As for what colour the room will be painted, this will be painted in a kind of off-white ivory. So it'll be very matte, kind of chalky type paints, kind of vintage paints, and it'll have a bright character to contrast with the dark wood. So let's go into the main hall. Here we go. The main hall. Well, as you can see, it's a pretty big space, right? The kind of space that seems right for an epic Gothic set. First off is the floor, you'll notice, which is this castle flagstone floor, and we've also created these steps. So we can actually look back, and there we can see the steps that we produced, and a work in progress of this epic door frame, which also has this large ornate overmantel, which at the moment is stuck back against the wall, but will actually be coming forward and will be expanded. So this idea should be that this door will be very big and imposing. Gosh, there's so much to get into here. In terms of like the floor, the team removed over 100 tons of dirt and old concrete and everything to create a flat floor that then allowed us to place these exquisite flagstones, which were treated with linseed oil and then antique wax on the grouting and everything. Now, at the moment, this is all a building site as well, so you can see that there's a lot of wood, there's scaffold, there's all kinds of stuff everywhere. But we'll do our best to give you a sense of what's going on. So, all the joinery the team has been doing, all the plastering, painting, decorations, been with the team and with some folks helping us where the skill areas are just maybe too specific. But things that we did do though, you can see with this cornice here, and you can see this picture rail with these little corbels that we did. If I just zoom in, you guys will get a chance to see those in a little bit more detail. You can just get an idea. You have these wonderful support bars that are iron, painted black, lovely roses and everything, with this kind of green and this white as well, which is the same white that will be in the lobby. It's just an enormous amount of stuff. These chains that hang down will eventually be fitted with period accurate orb lights as well, kind of Victorian glass orbs that will look really beautiful. So if we go back to the paneling again, lots of work going on. Just imagine all this paneling, and you see the stuff there going on, being done from scratch. So if I get a little bit closer, you can get a chance to see what that looks like. So you see a shelf. It's quite big. Yeah, I can get my whole hand in there. So it's a big sturdy shelf that goes all the way around. Let's try and give you guys a sense of the 3D of it, like that. And you see wood moldings, and then you've got, comes all the way down to the skirting that we've created. Now what happens is, where there's gaps, wood filler is put in, and it's sanded. When that's all finished and happy, we will stain. And some of these are old antiques, bits and bobs. Some of them are damaged antiques we've managed to get. And it does give you an idea of what the stain will kind of look like on the panels. We'll be going for this kind of look. So you've got all this paneling, right? We have a radiator there. The radiators that we have, they will be painted to look like old copper, but they'll eventually be housed in these kind of like wood structures with rattan type kind of vents. These radiator covers will look basically historic and period looking, and it will just help to kind of hide the metal in case we're shooting something that we don't want the radiators to be so present. We have these wonderful pieces of furniture which we've started to clean up. Everything's covered in sawdust. It's all kind of bits that we're using for stuff that we're making. And we have these nice marble tops that we cut to go on these things. This wonderful pieces of ornate furniture will actually form part of the semi-permanent interior design for the hall, but will have a practical purpose as well, because they'll be able to provide some catering service, kind of almost like a bar, for when we're hosting meetings for the British Horror Studio. Like this wonderful venue has the potential now to be the British Horror Studio headquarters when it's not being used for filming, and also for events. Here we can just see, get a sense of the scale of the hall from the other side. It's a very long, it's a very wide building. I mean, it's about 12 meters, or more, I think, but it is long. This is a peek at what I call the Gothic Tower of Doom, the Devil's Fireplace. And it's a work in progress, as you can see, but it's spectacular what the guys have done. So we built a raised flagstone hearth. Then we have this wonderful fireplace where you can see old hoof feet, old Mr. Trying to think of some names for the devil. They escape me. But wonderful sculpt work, and we have a keyhole patterned Victorian insert which we refurbished, and we've put some nice bottle green, emerald green Victorian tiles. Some little bits of wood at the bottom that'll get stained to match. So it's lovely frame built there. Then on top we have this gorgeous overmantel structure, which is just stunning. And with this, we have quite a lot of panels which were empty, which we've been working on. These were like mirrors and things. So to give you an idea, like we've created panels and then matched them. Like that's not original, and neither is that. And this frame, which will have lots of little decorations, I'll show you. Things like these things, which are like little appliques, which are really cool. And then you have pieces like these kind of things. Like for example, these cool things with the faces will actually go, so zoom in, into like there and there. This way, these will go. But in terms of that frame, it will be this thing, this awesome Crow of Doom, and we'll remove the shelf because we don't want that, but we'll keep the awesome bird and we'll put him inside the frame like that, surrounded with other goodies. Now, this is already epic. Epic height. But it's actually going to have a third tier, and that will be this, which is also being worked on. And at the moment, we're thinking of a clock with these statuette figures placed. And in the end, it should look, hopefully, utterly magnificent, so that when you come in, you see this huge structure facing you. And then opposite, when that's done, we should hopefully have big doorway. And in terms of the insides, well, it will tend to be more flexible. We'll have a range of kind of Breton, Flemish, dark Gothic antiques, but they can be moved and you can create a range of environments. So we're going to head into the back room in a moment, but if we take a little moment here just to see some of the stuff the guys have been doing here for just these doorways, which is a wonderful example of the kind of the detail. So we have these little green man sculptors, a kind of pagan symbol of new life, spring and fertility, and then these wood resin strips that I described earlier, which are wonderful. You can heat them with a heat gun and bend them and shape them, so they're great. This again, they'll all be stained and will all match this kind of color. So I'm going to take you into the next room now, which is what we call the Gothic bedroom set. Here we go. And this room is, again, very much a work in progress and has 7 doors leading from it. Gosh. But let me just show you what it looks like. So from this end of the room, it's like that. It has like a little kind of office type room in there. And if I turn around, gives you an idea. So it's quite a large space. We'll go and we'll check out some of the cool details. In here is a bathroom toilet. So we thought, you know what? A lot of our horror films have used bathrooms. Let's just make it a working bathroom. So we got this tiled with our friend Barry, and this, incidentally, is actually a Victorian bath, which we've restored. So it is actually 120 years old, has these cool little claw feet. And we refurbished the, oh gosh, what's it called? The ceramic, anyway. So there's a place to pee, but it'll also be a place to film when it's done. So coming back to here, we have another really magnificent Gothic fireplace. And this room I would describe as having a slightly more Elizabethan Renaissance type Gothic character. These are quite broad definitions because, you know, they're in actual fact quite precise when you say it's Gothic or neo-Gothic, all this kind of stuff. We're not quite as strict as that because these are more atmospheric for creative narrative purposes. So anyway, again, like the hall, there's wood paneling, but the difference here is that the wood paneling is more asymmetric and organic, and so not the same. So for example, either side of the fireplace, we have these lovely pieces which we got from a church in Romania. This fireplace insert is a stunning one that we restored, and these gorgeous embossed tiles just kind of have a wonderful medieval character about them as well. Just really beautiful. We have there's architraves, they still have to get work done. There'll be pediments, which are like things that go above the door frames. In fact, I think some of them are hiding in here. Some of our goodies, can't really see it very well, but it's just like you see there's like finials there, and these things just go on top and they look awesome. So these frames will probably have like what will look like maybe church crosses built into the middle of the frames. That'll just give us kind of more medieval religious character. We do have some of these from damaged antiques that we take from old cupboard doors, which we've now incorporated into paneling. It's beautiful. And then there's this as well, which is just magnificent. The lads built a base, and then we've got this coming up here. It's all been, as you can see, it's gorgeous, isn't it? So we're taking these things and just, you know, really putting them to good use. And we have some larger versions of these kind of things coming, and they will go there and there. And apart from that, wherever you've got any opportunity to use little wooden moldings, like those little appliques, you'll stick them on things. Like, for example, the sides of the corbels can have a little thing on them. And the same with the doors as well. These are solid oak. They can have moldings as well. Again, back to old Moulding Town, we're talking stuff like this. These could be stuck on each of the 6 panels, and then or these, you know, there's so many of these cool kind of things you can get. Lovely, just lovely pieces, you know, that don't have a home, but we can give a home by sticking them somewhere. So there's so much work, and some of the work is like, it's time consuming and it's challenging, but it's not immediately obvious. For example, like, you know, making windowsills, yeah, all these kind of things getting done. When this environment is finished, it will admittedly also get repainted, probably to a blue, because in terms of colour grading, it's just too much of a nightmare. Having this lovely Roman red, great though it is, it's just a little too close to flesh tones to be anything less than annoying to grade. But anyway, I digress. We'll have a Gothic 4-poster bed. And these are the kind of scenes where you'll have our lady waking up at night with the candelabra, you know, yeah, going for a pee probably over there. And apart from that, we also have just this little venel here, which is like a side entrance, and we just thought, you know what, we'll tile that, make it look nice. We're going to change that door, and then this just goes into like a little mini toilet, which is good because, you know, sometimes you're going to need more than one toilet if people are in here. So that's it. The rest is just like a utility cupboard, so nothing too exciting there. So, this was awesome as well. I nearly forgot this. So this window used to be bricked up. This was we did this just before we started our Patreon community for the British Horror Studio. But we dug this out, found that under the brick that was behind this wall was the original window, but it was so damaged it couldn't be repaired. It was just being walled up. So we had stained glass chaps come in and they built this window. And then we plastered around it and made it look cool. So that is, amazing. And originally on this side of the room, that window used to be like that. But, you know, after many, many decades, I mean, this building's about 200 years old. It's been messed about with. These windows are all gorgeous, but the stained glass just isn't as in great a condition, unfortunately. There's little bits of leading missing and bits bending. Outside, we've got, you know, secure glass, so everything is fine. It's wind and watertight, but it would be wonderful to eventually repair the stained glass, but you're talking bigger funds there. So that will have to wait a little bit longer. So folks, I hope you find that little tour of what we're working on useful. I'm going to lean on the scaffold now. Whew. Yeah, there's no denying it. It is an exceptionally ambitious project, but a wonderfully romantic one as well for the British Horror Studio. And the contributions folks are making every month to the Patreon, or even just by buying digital downloads, are going towards this fund. All of this work, like 95% of it, has been done by independent filmmakers learning how to cut wood, lay stone, tile, everything. We've had some outside help with friends that we've made from folks whose expertise were necessary to train others working with us, or just to do stuff that was maybe too dangerous, you know, like anything like electrics or gas and stuff. But what you see here is a testimony to the spirit of independent film and what we can accomplish by working together. And the British Horror Studio community is working together with folks from around the world, and we are seeing the difference manifest itself in stone. And we are creating a legacy that will stand the test of time by working together, just like this building has stood the test of time for 200 years. Thanks for watching.